Jolie for selling her stake in the French vineyard where they got married. The couple bought a controlling stake of Chateau Miraval in southern France in 2008 and tied the knot there 6 years later. He claims the former couple agreed not to sell their stakes without the permission of the author. Well, let's speak now to Neama Rahmani, who's a former federal prosecutor and currently president of West Coast Trial Lawyers. Mr. Rahmani, thank you very much for joining us. Talk us through the mechanics of this case. What's being argued?
Everyone has been talking about Brad and Angelina's divorce, but this is not a family law case. This is a partnership dispute or a breach of contract case between two business partners. They owned the winery before they were married, during their marriage, and they still own it together. So now that they're trying to split up this partnership, unfortunately, we're seeing litigation.
So you say this is not a divorce, this is a contract case. So that suggests there's a contract. This is pretty simple and straightforward, no?
You would think that there would be a written contract because under California law, if there is a written contract, one would have to be attached to the filing or quoted verbatim in the complaint that Brad Pitt's attorneys filed. But we don't see any of that. Of course, there could be a verbal agreement between two business partners, but that's going to be a problem for Brad Pitt because under California law, a 50% shareholder like Angelina Jolie can force the sale of the business.
So what grounds does Brad Pitt have then? What are his arguments going to be?
That's why Brad Pitt and his attorneys are arguing that there's a very specific agreement where neither spouse would sell to a third party without the other's consent. Of course, without anything in writing, Brad Pitt's attorneys are going to have an uphill battle convincing a California jury that Angelina Jolie agreed to something that she didn't have to.
Has there been any response from Miss Jolie?
Not yet, but she has filed previously this summer seeking to sell the winery to a third party. And the parties did engage in negotiations, but they've clearly fallen apart. And now we're going to have to settle it in court.
How do you predict this playing out?
My prediction in the absence of other evidence is that Angelina Jolie has the upper hand. She's a shareholder, and notwithstanding Brad Pitt's arguments that he put in more money, he put in more time, and he put in more effort into the winery, she is still a part owner entitled to sell her shares.
Okay, we'll have to leave it there just now. Neama Rahmani joining us from Los Angeles. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Now, before we go, a reminder of our top